This is for my sweetheart, Sophia. This is Grandma reading Forget-Me-Not about the giraffe and the elephant. Forget-me-not. When the herd arrived at the watering hole, Forget-me-not stayed close to his mommy. "There are so many different animals, Mama," he whispered. "How will I make friends?" "Just be yourself," she smiled. "They'll soon see how wonderful you are." To the elephant and the zebra. Forget-me-not splashed into the water and headed for the huge hippopotamus. "Will you be my friends?" he asked. "I like to wallow in the water too." See all the hippopotamus? Forget-me-not is the elephant. "You're much too small to wallow with us," huffed the hippos, and sank beneath the water. They didn't want the elephant to swim with them. "Will you be my friends?" he asked the lazy lizards who were sailing in the sun. "That looks like a lot of fun." "You're much too big to play with us," laughed the lizards, and swiftly sailed away. Forget-me-not the elephant approached the other young elephants, feeling sure that he was almost the right size. "Will you be my friends?" he asked. "I'm not too big or too small to play ball." "You're too young to play with us," said the elephants, and they turned their back on Forget-me-not the elephant. Before he went to sleep that night, Forget-me-not huddled close to his mommy. "No one wants to be my friend, Mama," he sighed. "I must not be wonderful at all." "You are, my darling," she said, "but friendships sometimes need time to blossom." "What's a blossom?" asked Forget-me-not the elephant. "Blossoms are special flowers that grow on trees," said his mommy. "They take time to bloom, but are always worth the wait." And she stroked his head until Forget-me-not the elephant was fast asleep. Forget-me-not the elephant didn't really understand what his mama meant about blossom, but he remembered that it had something to do with trees and time. So the next day, he waited below the bare branches of the trees in the woods. He felt very much alone until... "Hello, I'm Cherry," said a voice from above. "What are you doing?" Forget-me-not the elephant looked up to see a young giraffe looking down at him. "I'm waiting for the blossom," he said. "Me too," gasped Cherry the giraffe. "My mama says the blossoms are beautiful." "My mama says that friendships blossoms," said Forget-me-not. "I don't see how flowers could possibly make a friendship." Cherry the giraffe frowned. Forget-me-not the elephant and Cherry the giraffe stood beneath different trees, each waiting for their own particular flowers to arrive. "Do you want to play while we wait?" asked Cherry the elephant. "Oh," Forget-me-not the elephant shrugged. As the days passed by, Forget-me-not and Cherry spent all of their time together. They played tag among the trees and chased butterflies around and around. Sometimes they simply sat in the shade and enjoyed to be with one another. One day, the hippos and the lizards and the elephants went close to them and looking at their heads in amazement. They were looking up to the sky. Forget-me-not the elephant and Cherry the giraffe were having so much fun together, they hadn't noticed that the blossoms had bloomed. All the flowers were bright and pink and on the trees. Everyone wanted to play with the blossoms, but the hippos were too big, the lizards were too lazy, and like Forget-me-not the elephant, the young elephants couldn't stretch their trunks up that high. Cherry the giraffe smiled. She reached up and nudged a branch of blossoms. showering Forget-Me-Not the elephant with tiny pink petals. He had become a very special friend. Forget-Me-Not invited the other animals to join in their fun, and soon he had lots of friends. He did not mind at all if they were bigger or smaller or older than him. But Cherry the giraffe was always his best friend, and just like his mama said, she thought Forget-Me-Not was wonderful. And that is the end of the story. Wish upon Forget-Me-Not's blossoms to remember to tell your friends and your mommy and your daddy and your sister how wonderful they are. Good night, Sophia. Grandma and Grandpa love you.